Hey there, joiner. So, before we get into our regularly scheduled programming, just wanted to remind you that it is official. The Good Morning Guys podcast is on Patreon. And for those of you who may not know, Patreon is a monthly online subscription platform that allows you, yes, you, my friend, our joiner, to financially support content creators like us in a variety of monetary ways. Now, I know what you're thinking, and don't worry, all our content is staying that good old fashioned FREE and with our normally scheduled programming, of course. But if you like what you hear, if you like what you see, if you like what we do and want to toss a coin to your podcast, head on over to patreon.com/the GMG pod today. That's patreon.com/the GMG pod. Thank you so much for supporting the show as you live, as you work, and as you game. Good morning, my brothers and sisters. On this episode number 136 of the Good Morning Guys podcast, thank you so much for joining us on this fine morning, afternoon, evening, or night as we continue discussing the game of life amidst the other games we love to watch and play. I am one of your two hosts tonight, the Brazilian mountaineer and transition ninja, Lucas Hamswisher. Also with me, on my left, right, above, below, all around, the final member of the GMG Quad Factor who's got music in his heart, Doctor Who on his brain, and La Coretta in his old stomacho, Marc Boucher.
Man, it's been a while since we went halfsies.
I know, right? Have we gone halfsies on a normal show?
We
It's been a
have.
while.
We have. It's
Yeah?
been a long time though.
When was it? Oh, scholarly scholar.
I want to say it was you and I. I don't remember what episode it was, but
Now, we had Jake with us, right? I think we had a third party still.
yeah, I feel like we did something else other
Really?
than that. That was halfsies. I
I don't
can't
know.
remember.
I feel
Maybe
like this is
maybe
like
it
the
was
first.
that episode.
Yeah, I feel like this is the first fireside chat we've had. I need like fire in the background, like just you and me, man, hanging out.
That's my horrible
Is
version
that
of a
is that your fire crackling
fire
sound?
crackling.
That is special. I'm gonna go get some marshmallows. I'll be right back.
Schmoes.
Make some hot schmoes. All right. Well, as is tradition, we're going to jump into our updates. We will say at the top of this time that we very much miss Patrick and Ronnie. They are with us
Mm-hmm.
in spirit, as always.
Yep.
But they got a little work to do. They got a little husbanding to do. So we're just letting them do what they got to do. And we're going to, keep on with the show. They're here in spirit. Maybe we'll like throw in some, like, I don't know, sports words or something about
The Reds.
the Reds. Yeah, like go Reds. What a great color.
Great
And
American Baseball Stadium.
they hit
Yeah.
baseballs like purple. I don't know. What does purple do? Does purple do anything? I don't think so.
No,
I
I
better
have
stop.
No idea.
I better stop before I get myself in trouble. All right. So, Mark, what has been going on with you, brother? Fill
Yeah,
us
man.
in on
It's
the latest
actually
and
been
greatest.
it's been 2 weeks, so I gotta catch up on 2 weeks worth
Oh,
of
that's
stuff.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
you
I
were our
was-
silent member last week. So, yeah.
Yep, I was
Great.
I was in the background making sure that the video and audio was working right.
Yep.
So at least
yep,
I
you
could do
were.
something. Yeah, so obviously that all started on Easter. I definitely had a wonderful Easter itself. We
You
had a
better.
nice,
That's kind of an obligation with the pastor, I think.
yeah.
Professional obligation. You
You
got to enjoy it a
must
little
have
bit
a
at least.
wonderful Easter.
You must like
It must be good.
That's right.
Yeah, no, we definitely had a good Easter. We had an outdoor service for Easter. We had like
Nice.
this nice picnic pavilion that we had built several months back that we were able to set things up in, and so it was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to have that outdoor experience, and we were able to have everybody together because
Nice.
as it's been, basically we've had some people in the worship center and some people
Right.
outside at the picnic pavilion and some people in our secondary annex building to kind of spread things out because of COVID.
Right.
And
Yep.
my pastor was like, well, if they're not going to come to us, we're going to come to them. So we can go outside and that way everybody can spread out and still somewhat be together. And then we had basically a bring your own kind of picnic lunch after the fact.
Yeah, man.
So it was definitely a good time, but I overdid it voice wise. Even though
Yeah, you did.
we were fully mic'd and everything outside, but you just kind of feel like you have to
Hmm.
project more.
Yeah, I think the sound gets just swallowed up by all the open air a
Yeah.
lot. At least it feels like it.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I can see why you would have maybe pushed yourself a little more.
Yep. And I felt it. So the next couple of days after, I basically, for the most part, didn't talk because
Hmm.
that's the
Took a
number one.
vow
Oh,
of
go ahead.
silence. I
Yep.
said you took a vow of silence
Yep. Yep.
unofficially.
Yep. Because that's the best way for your voice to heal.
Yeah.
And obviously, I was drinking a lot of nice hot tea,
Hmm.
honey citrus mint tea, and stuff like that, which is best for your voice. A lot of people it's difficult for people to understand when it's something where you're in a profession that requires the use of your voice so
Right.
much, and both my jobs require it.
Yeah.
Um, it's difficult for people to understand like how much you really need to take care of your voice.
Yeah.
Um,
And you don't even really, I don't even think most of us understand how much it affects life when
yeah.
we can't or we don't use our voice. I remember a number of years ago, I actually did a speaking fast at my,
Yeah.
I was working at a church as a worship leader and a youth pastor. And I was even working at a YMCA, and just my schedule that week worked out to where I could do this. I fasted from speaking, and I had a little notepad, and I would write down my thoughts to people. And you really discovered who wanted to talk to you and actually was your friend, and who was like, you know what, this is a little too tough, I'm gonna move on to someone who can talk to me. Because some
Yeah.
people would read what you wrote. Like, I went to a board meeting and I had a notepad, and then I had like a couple people, they were willing to read what I wrote during the board meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And it was quite I don't know, it really gave me a little perspective on what a very small, uh, I don't know,
A slice.
a slice of the perspective that God goes through just in almost his vow of silence in some ways where, we don't usually hear the voice of God. So
Yeah.
he has to find other ways to communicate with us and connect with us. So it can be a spiritual experience, and can be nice to just not talk.
Yeah. It's interesting for sure. Thankfully, I set it up to where I really didn't have to go anywhere. I just
Yeah,
stayed at home, so it's not like I was running into situations where I had to be forced to talk or deal with a situation where I wasn't talking, and they're like,
right.
"What's up with this guy?" Um,
Awkward.
so yeah, for a couple of days, I basically just didn't talk.
You
Um,
should have taken up some mime classes or something. That would have been fun. For those who are audio listeners, Mark just did his best mime impression.
yep,
It was
mime
a
in a box.
7 out of 10.
Yeah, I can't say I was perfect at it, but none of us are. Um,
Amen, brother. Amen.
but yeah, so been just trying to be careful
Yeah.
with the voice and everything, and because it's still even now um talking for great length, like I start to feel this tightness in my
Yeah.
throat. Um, but I mean, if you think about it, like if mess up your knee or your leg or something like that, sprain a muscle or break a leg or something like that, you don't walk on it, right? Or at least you
Right.
try not to.
You
Same
try not to.
same idea with your voice. Because I mean, your vocal cords, I mean, they're muscles,
Yeah.
so you got to be careful with that. But yeah, so Easter was good. Spent time with my wife's side of the family, extended family that we hadn't seen since November.
You
Because
were due.
yeah, because we saw them just before Thanksgiving, and then we got COVID, and then just it's just been too long. So
Right.
we
Yeah.
spent Easter with them. They actually came up to this area, and we went to my father and mother-in-law's house and spent the time with them, which was great. Um, Also on some IRL stuff, some things I've been watching. First off, watched Godzilla versus Kong.
Ooh, who won?
Yes.
Perfect. That's the answer I was looking for.
It was.
Now,
I
did you go in rooting for? Were you rooting for? What are they called? Kaijin, I think.
Kaiju.
Kaiju.
Yeah,
Sorry, I don't know
yeah.
where Kaijin came from, but Kaiju. So were you rooting for one?
I was, and I will forever stand on this pedestal.
Who
I
or
am.
which or what?
I am Team Godzilla all the
All
way.
right, I'm with
Yep.
you, brother. Team Godzilla all the way as well.
Kong is a powerful but just a giant monkey.
Yeah,
Like
come on.
Godzilla is a giant freaking lizard who is nuclear.
He shoots a laser beam from his mouth. There's no way. That's like Superman versus Batman, which I know you would disagree, but really, in terms of like pound for pound, Godzilla's got it, just like Superman has it over Batman. But I'm sure King Kong was smart like Batman, and he found a way. He had his utility belt or something and pulled
Without
something
getting
out of
into
there.
spoilers, he
I
did.
know. I don't know. I mean, I know a little more than I lead on, but
Yeah.
it looks like a fun movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It very much it knew what kind of movie it was, and I thought it was great. My wife and I
Cool.
very much enjoyed it. Had a fun time with it. Um, Also on the things I've been watching front, I've been watching a little show on Amazon Prime called Invincible.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, which for the uninitiated is basically it's an animated superhero show. It's very much an adult cartoon, not like in terms of like sex and nudity or anything, but it's very up there in terms of language and
Yeah,
blood.
some mature content.
Yeah. Um, but it's made by it's based on the comic book that was made by Robert Kirkman, same guy who
Yep.
does The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And I'm very much enjoying that show.
Cool.
It's awesome. Um, it's one of those shows where it's a week to week kind of thing, so it's not like you can binge it. But I think they're coming up on episode 5 right now, so I'm not sure how many episodes in the season there are, but like I was actually behind and I binged it and I was like sorely disappointed when I was like,
Oh,
"Oh,
really?
it's week to week." No.
No, I wasn't prepared. I was ready to just do it. You're ready to just blow through all of it.
Yep. But
And it was
but
not
no.
possible. Yeah.
But no, I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. I very much enjoy the show.
Cool.
Um
Cool.
on the gaming side of things, still playing some Apex, but also
What?
yeah,
Crazy. That is
surprise,
nuts.
surprise. I know.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
But this past week, finally jumped into some VR gaming.
There you go. Nice.
Um, and played episode 1. Yes, episode 1 of Vader Immortal, which was pretty short, which was fine. I mean, they're episodic. I don't know how many episodes there are of that game, but um,
Are they week
I
to week also?
no, I think they're
I know, just kidding.
I think they're all out already.
Oh,
That
okay.
game's been out for a while, um, but yeah, I think I think no
Are
more
those,
than like an hour and a half is good for me in terms of using VR.
yeah, I kind of feel like they have to make the VR episodes shorter because
Yeah,
they do want to encourage you to not overdo it. I know some people, I'm sure, try to play like normal sessions of video games on in VR, but man, I know for me, I didn't last very long when I played it for
yeah,
the first couple times.
yeah. And I mean, you're standing up the whole time and all that kind of stuff. And thankfully, I wasn't feeling too bad after I was done.
That's
But
good.
like, I'm just worried that like I'm gonna start feeling sick
Yeah,
um, after a certain amount of time. So these are gonna be shorter streams.
yeah.
Um,
So did the first episode you said covered episode one, or
yeah,
wait, it was episode one. It didn't cover episode one
no,
of
not the movie.
Star Wars.
No.
What did is there anything you can give just a taste of what does it cover? Like, is it
So it's its
from?
own, original story.
Oh, okay.
Um, Vader is very much in it at several
I would
points.
I would imagine. I would hope.
Um, Vader is very tall.
Yeah,
I found myself
what I've
having to
heard.
like look up several times. Um, but no, Vader is basically after a particular thing, like a MacGuffin,
Oh, okay.
um, that your character is able to in some way access.
Hmm. So you don't play as Vader?
You do not.
Oh, really? I thought
No,
you got to play as Vader.
no, you
Interesting.
play as an original character.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
OG.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to go into it too much. But
All right. Fair enough.
I mean the gameplay and everything was great. Um, this weekend I'll be playing Super Hot.
Super hot.
Yes.
I've actually
Uh,
never even played that. I've just heard people say that so many times, including you. So I thought I'd just beat you to the punch.
yep. Um, I figured you would, so I gave you that space.
Appreciate
Um,
it.
but yeah, I'll be playing that this weekend. Also, a nice little item arrived today. I purchased an Xbox Series S.
Ooh, you mean a
Yep.
Game Pass box?
Yep. This old
Yep.
Game Pass box right here. For
Oh,
those
the
who
old Game Pass
can't
box.
can't see
Nice.
it at the moment,
I
I'm
can't see it. It's
patting.
hiding behind a PS5, which, does make sense
This thing
given
is
the
this thing is
sheer enormity.
tiny.
Yeah.
It is so tiny. Like I took it out of
Looks
the
like a
box. I'm like,
coaster. Can
what the heck?
put your coffee on that. It's got a little coaster on top of it for your coffee or drink of choice.
Yeah, and I
But
mean the air
probably
that's
never do that.
blowing out, it'll keep the coffee warm and
There you
everything.
go. Yeah, that's nice. Perfect.
Yeah, but I set everything up with it. I started to play Outriders a little bit.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I haven't gotten too far in that yet. Like I'm very early game, and then I kind of had to shut it off. So,
Yeah.
um,
I,
but
w- I need to know real quick. I've downloaded the demo, never played it, then deleted it off my PlayStation. But do you actually ride anything in Outriders? Is that a thing? Or
I have not experienced it.
okay. Because I haven't heard, I think that'd be cool if they had like a riding game, like a third person shooter riding game where you ride like horses or just any creature. That'd be cool.
It
Just
would be
saying.
cool.
Throwing that out there for Sony. Not that Sony made anything. Throwing it out there. Who made that? I forget their names.
That's a good question. I don't remember who
Dude,
made
come on.
Outriders.
Come on. I need a Mark fact.
Yeah, well,
But
Mark
you
Facts are
guys
coming up
who
dry here.
developed it, make it a real riding game where you ride stuff the whole time.
This is true.
It's like it starts with an F, doesn't it?
People can fly.
Fly. That's what I was looking for.
Yep.
People
Yeah, in
can
conjunction
fly.
with
Yeah,
Square Enix.
that's right. Very good. I just want to know what they're riding towards or to. So you let us know. Keep us up to date on the
Out.
old Outriders.
Yep. They're riding out.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that is about it
That's it.
for me. That's all
Hmm.
she wrote.
All right. Well, that's good
Lucas,
to
how
know.
was
Thanks for sharing.
yeah, how was your week, man?
Let's see. So I guess IRL in the real life phase, it's been a little it's a little bit of the struggle bus. We're still in lockdown. Like Brazil is not doing well. I don't know how many people watch the news. I don't actually have to watch the news because I hear people talk about it, and my
You
wife
live the
keeps up on
news.
the news. I live the news here in Brazil, so I don't know that overall it's as bad as maybe the news, maybe Americans are getting, or I know there've been some lockdowns and things still going on in Europe. I don't know, but here in Brazil, it's like I'm in Sao Paulo. I'm in the capital of the state of Sao Paulo, which is one of the biggest states in population and such. And it's the epicenter. I mean, it's where COVID kind of started spreading in Brazil. So
Yeah.
it's the worst area of it. It's actually, you know, it's been a full year, and we do have people getting vaccines and stuff, but it's moving slow. Like it's
Mm.
super slow. This week, Mindy said that 3 of her teacher friends got the vaccine, at least the first shot of 2, I think.
Yeah.
They're only giving it to teachers over 47 or 47 and older, which I thought was totally random. Like who
Yeah.
that's the average age, I guess, or they threw it a dartboard and said,
Pick a
"Okay,
number out of a
47 and
hat.
above." Yeah. Who's it going to be? Let's see. Yeah, they have a little 47 and above, you win. So hoping she's going to be on the list next. The kids and I, we don't look to have the vaccine until 2022, most likely. And so unless we fly back to the U.S., get ourselves the vaccine, and then come back to Brazil, it's very unlikely we're going to get the vaccine until 2022.
Mm.
So we'll see
Crazy.
how it goes. It is crazy, but yeah, we're in lockdown. I'm with the fam 24/7, and that's until the end of April, which is actually a blessing in disguise because we are gearing up to move.
Yeah.
Just found out today that the contract has been drafted. We have our top people looking at it, checking out the contract, make sure the owner's not trying to cheat us. No, just having, doing our due diligence. It's kind of scary to do anything legal to sign any documents in a foreign country
Yeah.
when, like, legal language in the US and English is kind of crazy and convoluted sometimes. It's even worse in another language. So there's a lot of loopholes and a lot of things that people can do. So we have friends in our church that are lawyers, and they're checking out, our contract. But we should be signing next week. The
Nice.
24th of April, Saturday, is going to be our official move-in day. But the owner's nice enough to let us, starting that the Monday before, to start just taking boxes and filling up the house with boxes. We'll be setting some stuff up leading up the week before, and then on that Saturday, we'll pretty much just be taking the big stuff like refrigerator, washer, dryer, dishwasher, all the large appliances and furniture. So it's exciting.
Nice
We're gonna
deal.
have we're gonna have a yard. We're gonna have places like at least half a dozen places to hang a hammock. We're gonna have a pizza oven, as I've told you guys, a brick grill. I'm gonna spend a lot of time outside. I think it's gonna help because I have major cabin fever.
Yeah.
Like I am inside m- most of the time. Like
Right.
it's nuts.
Now, question for you.
Yep.
So for those who are, and this is kind of inside baseball type stuff,
Let's hear it.
you're in the living room, aren't you, at your
I
house
am.
currently?
I am in the living room.
Are you going to be able to get a room specifically for podcasting and such, and office
Uh,
type stuff?
I don't think I am. It's a
Bummer. Okay.
Yeah, like all the upgrades are outside the house. Like the house
Okay.
itself is not that much bigger than what I mean, the living room's bigger. I might try to create a space. We do have some areas of the house where I won't have a room dedicated to podcasting, but I might be able to create like a podcasting
A
space where I maybe have
space.
some stuff in the background or
Yeah.
but I'll be able to figure that out once we get settled. But yeah, no, there actually, funnily enough, there were a number of houses that we visited that had like a bonus room or an office room. And every time either my kids or my wife would be like, podcast room. And I'm like, I know, wouldn't that be cool? But it didn't work out. So yeah,
No.
no, didn't happen. So yeah, better luck next time. We're hoping there won't be a next time for a while. We're hoping
Yeah.
to stick with this house for a long time. It's going to be a great place for my kids to grow up and to get a dog and just to be just a few minutes from school and a few minutes from a lot of friends and families that we want to get to know with and walk with as much as we can in the midst of all this pandemic craziness. But yeah, that's pretty much been real life, is slowly, little by little, packing up, working and studying and being at home with my family 24/7, trying to spin those plates. And that's about it in the real life sector. In gaming, not really much has been going on too. I've been playing some of the usuals, been playing Diablo 3 with Chris Kerwin, our old Canadian rock friend that I play with early in the morning. That cat gets up at 4 a.m.
Yeah,
to
I
game.
wake up and I see notifications from him at like 4 or 5 in the morning that
Yep. that
he's
stuff's
he's
been
gone
going
live.
on. Stuff's been going down. Yeah, he's been Twitch streaming. Shout out to Chris the Rock. You can
Yeah,
definitely check out
Chris.
his Twitch channel if you're an early riser or you live in Europe or Asia where it's actually late morning or afternoon when he gets on. Please check him out. He's 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 not the most talkative guy, but we talk together during the entire stream. So you can join us in on the conversation. But we've been playing Diablo 3. It's been really fun. Um, it's been it's been the first time in a long time that I've played a game that has a story and I've not played a single bit of attention to it. It was really funny. Like one of the first sessions that we had where we started playing, we made our characters, we jumped in, and when you play the game, like you both control the text speed, like it's shared. So I was ready to start reading or start listening to what the characters had to say. I mean, I've played through the game, I've platinumed the game on PS3, but I'm always up for a good story. And all
Yeah.
of a sudden, the words just start blowing by, like it does that thing where they say like the first syllable and then it just skips to the next one.
Oh
I
yeah.
was like, whoa, what did I press something? And Chris is like, we can just skip this, right? I'm like, yeah, man, that's fine. I'm all right with that. It's I mean, with the Diablo, it's really all about the loot. And then more than likely, I'm definitely going for the platinum trophy. It's like a 70-hour plat, so it
Mm.
will take some time, but it's one that you can just spread out over time. And then just getting to conversate with my old buddy up there in Canada, hang out with him, talk about life, talk about family, um, talk about God, talk about coffee because we drink a lot of that early in the morning. So it's a good time.
Nice.
Yeah. The other thing I've been doing is Rocket Leagueing, which I know
Oh man.
you know is my apex, as
Yeah.
you know. And we hit season 3 this past week, and I've been working on getting re-ranked in competitive and the extra modes. And let me tell you, it's a slog.
Mm. Did they only somewhat recently start with seasons? Because I feel like with how long that game's been out, it should be
It
later than
should
season three.
it should be, but they started it when they went free to play. Free to pray. We're all free to pray,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, no, it doesn't. Rocket League's not the only one. Everyone's free to pray. But no, in September of last year, they went free to play, and that's when the season started. So they started following the free to play, whatever it's the
Model.
concept, model, paradigm,
Yeah.
shifting. Get it, cars. Anyways, anywho, but yeah. So this season is all about NASCAR and Formula One, and I couldn't care any less about that.
Mm.
Really, I couldn't. Like my kids are like, "Oh, that's cool. Look at that thing," and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't really care. I don't
Well,
want to buy the
anyway.
season pass." Anywho, let's continue. I mean, they did some cool updates. They made the trade in really easy now, where you can before you had like you'd pick something to trade in, like for so many items, like 5 of one type of item, you can trade in to get one item that's one level higher. And I mean, these items are like paint jobs and tires and goal explosions, which are my personal favorite. I actually, instead of buying the season pass, I paid a little bit of extra dough to get a goal explosion that in Rocket League normally when you score a goal it blows everybody away from the goal,
Yeah.
and this goal explosion actually implodes and it sucks everybody in and makes them disappear.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's really cool. It's like the gravity explosion, the gravity
Black
goal
hole.
explosion, black hole. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool. I already had some credits and I had the blueprint, so I just gave a little. I want you know what I've played now 200 hours of this game and had paid $0, and so it came on to PS Plus. It's free to play now. I was like, you know what? I bought last season. I'm gonna give them a little more cash because I think they deserve it. So
Yeah, man. That's how we are with Apex. We
yeah,
like, man, we've gotten so many hours of fun out of this. Like,
yeah,
let's toss some shekels to them
no
and
doubt.
show appreciation. So yeah.
Shekels. How did you find that on? Did you get like a Shekels card on eBay or Amazon? Some kind of
I mean,
tossing the
we're
shekels at the Rocket League.
we're
Works.
students of the Bible here, so
That's true. Yep, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I'm not about to drop a drachma on Rocket League, but
Maybe.
It would have to. Depends on the
It's
season.
it's not a literal shekel, a metaphorical shekel.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Of course, of course. But yeah, besides that, I don't. One question I wanted to ask you, as a man who sometimes plays online with randos,
Mm-hmm.
how does it feel when either one of two scenarios, you're moving and a grooving with a rando, and you're like, you kind of get like to liking them, and then they all of a sudden drop off the match, or they just stop playing, or I don't know. There's lots of things that can happen.
That's when it just becomes par for the course because it's like, oh, okay, so you are a regular rando. I
Yeah,
didn't I
it's
didn't
like
find a diamond in the rough.
fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, well, shame
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
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 yeah, exactly.
yeah. I mean, I mean, that is kind of leading on. Like, oh man, you couldn't have followed all the way through here.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially like with Apex. The big issue is when people get downed or killed. You have the opportunity to
Yeah,
revive
to
them,
bring him back.
bring them back.
Exactly.
And these guys, like, they get knocked and immediately they quit.
Ugh.
It's like,
That's what happens on Rocket League. You you go into a match, and especially with this competitive, you have to play 10 matches in order to get a ranking. And there are some people that they will they'll be on your team and they'll be playing, then you go down by one, sometimes two, and they immediately want to forfeit. And
yeah,
if you don't forfeit right away, they just leave the match. And it's just like, and then there have been times when we've come back. I've come back with two, like one other person,
yeah.
and we've won. And I've been like, see, you should have stuck around.
Oh yeah, there's been plenty of times where we've had a guy quit and then we've won, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't count for them at that point.
No, it shouldn't. That would be a travesty. They
Yep.
ditched. They gave up. So they give up their chance for a win.
Hmm.
So, hmm
I understand your pain.
yeah, I figured you would. I figured you would. I really don't like randos right now because they've been making the this season's experience with Rocket League pretty rough. But it's so strange because I didn't have this last season. Like it didn't happen very much. I feel like I was able for the most part to play matches, to go into competitive, go into, Rumble, my favorite extra mode, and, you know, not worry about it. It's weird.
Yeah.
You know, you know what else is weird?
Stories. So I've
The
heard
news.
news stories. Yeah.
Stories. Our topic, in fact, is weird.
It's a good
That's right.
transition right there.
That's right, folks. We are talking about weird news stories, weird stuff. Brought to you by Mark.
Brought to you by the world.
Brought to you by humanity.
Because the world is a weird place.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, people do silly things, especially in America, because I don't know, it's just
Something in the water.
it's just exquisite what some people do.
Exquisite. That's such a nice thing to say. What you're doing is so exquisite.
Yeah, I guess it's a nice way of putting it, but yeah, it just when I was trying to search out something to talk about,
Yeah,
because
let's give them something to talk about.
yeah, how about weird stories?
How about weird stories? I don't even know how you connect that to that song. Stories.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Bonnie Raitt.
Yep. You're the best.
So yeah, immediately just talking about all the weird news that goes on, and what really surprised me is that a whole bunch of different sites have spots dedicated to weird or odd news.
They do.
Yeah, like it's literally a section on their website.
Yeah,
Like,
there's so much of it to choose from. You can just dedicate a website or five to it.
for example, HuffPost, the Huffington Post, has a whole section
Mm.
dedicated to it. And so I guess I'm just gonna go right ahead and go into it.
Yeah.
Um,
Give us one. Let's talk about it.
so here's a recent one that's kind of a jerk move on this guy's part, but um, so this guy in Georgia, he was fired from his job but he was looking for his last paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was waiting on that, and the employer was holding out on giving him his last paycheck, and it was like $1,000, something like that.
Whoa,
And
that's not
so
cool.
he actually reported this employer to whatever business, I don't know, Better Business Bureau or local, something local, Georgia local things, whoever is in charge of labor in the state of Georgia.
Right.
And so he basically reported this guy, and so he was forced to pay him. However, he paid his former employee all in pennies.
$1,000 in pennies.
And not only did he pay the man in pennies, he paid him in oil covered pennies. He covered
Oil
all
covered.
the pennies in some sort of oily substance.
Ew.
And attached to that note literally was it literally just said F you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. All right.
And so
We
yeah,
have an alphabet man here, just
yeah.
throwing random letters at people.
Foo? What's
Hey,
foo?
Fu. I know Kung Fu.
No, but yeah, it was technically his paycheck was $915, which equals out to 91,515 coins.
Now, how many banks did this guy have to go to
Well,
get all these pennies? How does that even work? Hey, is
yeah,
there a penny store? Like, hey, I'd like to exchange money for pennies.
yeah, I don't know where the employer got all those pennies from, and whoever gave them to him should be like fired. I almost
Oh,
wanted to say shot, but that's too harsh.
yeah, that might be a
Um,
little harsh.
but uh, but yeah, he dropped it off at his driveway. 91,515 coins, weighing
All
about
right.
504 pounds, and like I said again, covered in this oily substance.
Yeah, I want, you know what we should do? We need to rate the weirdness of the stories that we're talking about. Because that one, like that one at first was just like, all right, a bunch of pennies. But then covered in oil,
Yeah, just to make
that
things
notches it up a
worse.
bit. I would
Yeah,
give that oh, I don't know. I would give it I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10 on the weirdness Richter scale.
I would give
Because
it
of the oil.
probably a 6.5 or 7. I
All
would
right.
say.
All right.
Yeah, it was out of 5, and then the oil kicks it up a
Well,
notch.
yeah. It's like, all right, you gave him a bunch of pennies. That's kind of weird and crazy.
But this story's not over yet.
Oh, there's more.
There
Oh,
is
this
more.
might notch it up. It's still the same story. So, all
So,
right,
who
let's
comes
hear it.
to the rescue but Coinstar?
Coinstar. What?
He was able to cash all of those pennies out through Coinstar and was able to get paper money that way. Um,
So
and
they accept oily money apparently. Oily
Well, no,
coins.
the guy actually had to clean every
Okay,
single
that makes
penny
sense.
off before he did it. And so he's like, yeah, he was doing it a little at a time, every night, just trying to clean it off to where it was enough to where he could be able to exchange
Wouldn't
it.
just wouldn't just slip out of your hands.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, Coinstar showed up big time and took all those pennies, which he
All
had
right.
in like this big old wheelbarrow that apparently flattened the wheels on it.
Yeah, I bet it did. That's crazy.
Uh, but
All right,
that's very trifling.
I got a weird story for you.
Go for it.
Let's see how weird we think this is. Did you know this news kind of came around some time ago? I don't have a date on it, and I don't even have a reference, but and I don't even know how to pronounce the city in Japan. I have to be really careful how I pronounce this. But if you ever want to visit Fukuoka, Japan, it's Fukuoka. I had
Oh,
to
so
really
like what
think
he
about
wrote on
this.
that note.
Exactly. Yeah. If you want to visit FU Japan, no. Fukuoka, Japan, on a budget, there's a hotel that will have you covered. You can stay for a paltry 100 yen a night. That is about $1. And this is the catch. Visitors must agree to let the hotel live stream their stay on its YouTube channel.
Oh gosh, no.
So, more than 500,000 viewers have tuned in to watch people sip tea, read, and once watch a guest attempt to play Twister by himself. I'm so glad it was Twister by himself because things could get
A lot of
weird.
things
I'm
you can do
sure.
by yourself.
Now, they do say the bathroom is private,
That's
but
good. That's real good because I feel like that borders along on the lines of being illegal. I don't
yeah,
know how Japan
voyeurism.
works
Like,
there,
I
but
mean, I guess if you sign the paper and you give permission for people to, but they
yeah,
live
that's
stream
true.
their hotel stay. So there you
That's
go. Mark, would you do that?
no, no,
No, that's a hard pass.
yeah. Especially if I was like with my wife or something like that. No,
Yeah, that would get awkward.
yeah.
That could get awkward, especially if they had a purple mattress. It would be like, whoa, what are we gonna do?
Well, I wasn't
This
going in
is
that direction, but just like
awkward.
privacy on on behalf of my wife.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
no,
My wife totally wouldn't let me do it, but I would totally do it. I wouldn't care. I'm
I
like, what are
guess
you?
if
What
it
are
was
you?
by myself,
Yeah, like
maybe.
it's your call. If you want to watch it, you watch. I'll still do what I'm gonna do. I have nothing to hide, and if I really want to like go crazy, I'll just leave. It's not like they lock you in the hotel room and you have to do everything there. You
Yeah.
can leave and go places.
Well, what the creepiest part is like obviously you've got to go to sleep, and so
That's
there are
true.
people overnight watching you sleep.
Exactly. And that, so yeah, so that I think we talked about it a few weeks ago, like the creepy sayings you could say to people, like you smell different when you are awake. I don't know, like something about
Remember that.
like yeah, like
Ugh.
you're not what I imagine. You look different when you're awake. I don't know, just like yeah, people watching you sleep. I know how much I know how much I snore sometimes. That could get people turning off the stream.
Let's watch the lawnmower for a while.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. What's another story you got, Mark?
Okay, so next story here is interestingly enough. Did you know now, at this very moment, a piece of the Wright brothers plane is on Mars?
What? Really?
Yeah.
I did not know this.
So NASA's experimental Martian helicopter holds a small swatch of fabric from the 1903 Wright Flyer, the helicopter which is named Ingenuity. That's the NASA helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
Hitched a ride to Mars with the Perseverance rover, which arrived last month. Yeah, and so right now on Mars is a piece of American history.
Hmm.
I don't know what led them to decide to bring that.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, did they have just extra fabric from the plane just laying around, or did like someone sneak into Smithsonian and just like get a little piece of it?
So what could we put in this thing? What do we
Yeah.
want to carry around? Are we close to Kitty Hawk right now?
Yeah, let's go check it out. Like, is it like is it patched in, or did they put it on like the little mirror, like the dice for Millennium Falcon? Like, is there just a little fabric hanging from the rearview mirror of the helicopter? Is it? You say it's a
Uh,
helicopter? What's it called again?
yeah,
That
the
they-
helicopter itself is called the
Yeah,
Ingenuity.
yeah, the Ingenuity.
Yeah.
All right,
Let me see
that's cool
here.
though.
Um, says the Swatch made the 300 million mile journey to Mars with the blessing of the Wright brothers' great grandniece and great grandnephew. Okay.
That's a reach. Great grand cousin and great grand third cousin.
Oh, and apparently also, as they were doing the research for this story, apparently a fragment of the wood from the Wright Flyer actually went to the moon. The moon.
Oh, they toss it out the window on the way, just let it land there on the
Sure.
moon. It's on the moon.
Yeah, they took it. They took it for the Apollo 11 landing.
Oh,
Apparently.
okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
So I don't
Huh.
know. Sure, it's some sort of flight. I guess. I guess it makes
Yeah.
sense
Yeah.
to take that to Mars, but yeah, it's there right now.
There
Piece
it
of
is.
aviation history.
Mm-hmm. All right.
It's on the red planet.
We forgot to rate our voyeurism
Oh
YouTube
yeah,
weirdness.
that's eight
How
out of
would
10 right there.
Yeah, 8 out of 10. A hard eight, if not an 8.5 out of 10. I'll do an 8 out of 10 because you can get around the weirdness by just not being weird yourself.
Yeah.
But it's still like signing your life away. And then in terms of the I don't know, taking the piece of the Wright Flyer, is that what it's called?
Yep.
To
The
I
original
kind of think that's
1903.
kind of cool. Like it's very symbolic. So on a weirdness scale, I'd probably only give it like a 5.
Yeah, I get that. I
I
understand that.
find it to be kind of cool to
It's
do that
just
meaningful kind of thing.
it just to me it just kind of struck me as kind of random.
Yeah, that is kind of random,
Like of all the things.
right, brothers? Yeah.
All right.
All right.
You got any more?
Uh, yeah, I actually have another another aviation related weird news. So this past summer, as in the summer of 2020,
Yeah.
Songshan Airport in downtown Taipei, they allowed 60 passengers the chance to check in, collect boarding passes, clear security, and wait at their gate and board a China airline Airbus. Do you know what the plane's destination was at this time last year in the summer when the pandemic was at its height?
Wuhan?
Nowhere. Yeah,
Nowhere?
Wuhan. Yeah, right. No, it was destination nowhere. The groups were the lucky winners of a contest that let people role play a day at the airport, and they satisfied their nostalgia for a time when air travel was still a fun and easy prospect. Once the passengers boarded, their trip came to an anticlimactic end. After being greeted by flight attendants buckling up and sitting on the tarmac, they deplaned and went home. The end. What a prize, right?
People
You've
are
won a
bored.
prize. That's it.
Oh, that's like all those people that play like truck driving simulator or
Yeah.
games like that, like just to experience that in a weird way. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess I understand the fondness of normalcy, um, but of all the things you could try to be nostalgic for, going and staying in an airport.
Yeah. 60 people entered a contest. Like they had to go out of their way to like were there I feel bad if it was like just 61 people wanted to do it and then that one person that just didn't quite make it. They're like, dang, it's so close to eating those peanuts, those little bags of peanuts and pretzels or whatever they give on at the Songshan airport.
Yeah, so close to getting in the really smelly airplane.
Oh yeah, and breathing in that circulated air that would probably give me COVID.
And having to use that horrible lavatory bathroom.
Yeah. Is
People
there
are weird.
is there anything like when you were at the height of the pandemic, when we were like super locked down last year, was there anything that you just were like, man, it's so simple, but I wish I could just do it right now?
Um, just being able to, I mean, at the time, sitting down at a restaurant
Yeah,
um,
that's true.
was something that I kind of missed out on quite a bit. Just because you know us, we go to La Coretta every week,
Yeah.
and so we had to like order out and stuff like that
Yeah, you
whenever we
had
would get it.
La Coretta on the go in
Yep.
your oldest stomach go.
Yep. Ah,
Nah, me.
it
Yep.
rhymes.
Look at that.
Um, but yeah, we actually, I mean, we had a surge in cases, but like here in this part of Virginia, it's not near as bad as other parts of the country. Um, so, I mean, we definitely had lockdowns for sure.
Hmm.
But it was just kind of weird because I was technically considered essential staff being
Yeah.
in
So
auto repair.
you didn't get the full experience.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, my wife did because she actually worked from home for a little while.
Right?
But yeah, no, I had to go out every day. Um,
Yeah.
so there was no quarantine for me except for when I got COVID.
Yes. Then you definitely were feeling it.
Yep.
Yeah. For me, the two things I've wanted to do most in life that really are still not something that are encouraged or that I could do is go to a movie theater and hug people. Like, of course, I can
That's a
hug
big
my
one. Yeah.
family, but I mean, I've been in Brazil for now almost 9 years, and it's a way of life. Like, you hug people, like you
Yeah.
hug strangers that are, you have a connection maybe because you go to the same church or I don't know, whatever. People will find a connection to have, and they hug it out, and it's awesome. It's an awesome way to live. It's not for everyone. I know Ronnie especially. He'd be like, "Nope, no thanks. I'm not gonna be in you too as well." Maybe like, "Hey, yo, let's just do a little head nod." Okay, good. But man, I love to hug, and I missed it a
I don't
lot.
mind it.
I
I don't
miss
mind
it.
hugging.
Yeah, that's good. It's good to know. I'll be
Yeah.
giving you a long 20-second hug when
Good.
we see each other next.
Good.
For sure. Good. Good. So, yeah. Let's see. We each covered two stories. Do we want to do some joiner news?
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
It's
Uh,
actually. Oh yeah, go ahead.
did you want me to like the bulk of our joiner
Yes.
questions?
It was almost unanimous. What
And everybody was like, "You got to do Florida, man. You got
that
to
is
do it."
correct.
And yeah, it's basically become a meme. And a lot of things out of Florida, the crazy things that they do, all the weird headlines. It's like I don't understand how you guys can be so insane down there, but here we go.
Here we go.
All right, so let me get this pulled back up. Okay. First off, Florida man survives alligator attack by poking at its eyes. He was left with 65 stitches.
That sounds like barely survival to me.
Yeah.
65 stitches? That's like they had to reattach some fingers or a hand or something.
Here's the thing. So the guy, his name is Mark Johnson. He's 61. This was last year. These are all 2020 stories.
Of course.
Um, he's lived his entire life around alligators, and that's why he was so surprised when one tried to grab him and drag him into a canal. He managed to get the gator to let go of his leg by digging both of his index fingers into the reptile's eye sockets. Yeesh.
Gators got to eat. I mean, what are you going to do? Survival of the fittest.
I suppose. I feel like you're just asking for that someday if you're around dangerous animals all the
Oh, for
time.
sure. For sure. I mean, we were, I can't remember. I think you might have been in middle school, and I think I was in high school when who were those performers that had a pet Siberian tiger, white tiger that it attacked? It's like not Simon and Garfunkel. It's like
Siegfried and Roy.
yeah, Siegfried and Roy. One of them got attacked by their white tiger
Yep.
during one of their performances in Vegas. You just can't mess with that stuff.
That's a ticking time bomb there.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
like rest in peace, Steve Irwin. Like
Oh yeah,
like he was constantly literally playing with fire.
yeah.
Every time he would get around a lot of those creatures, and um, you know, unfortunately, it really got to him in the end. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
even though he insisted all the time, everything he was doing was completely safe and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, but you're poking the bear, or the alligator, or the stingray, which
The
unfortunately
stingray.
that's
Yep.
what killed him.
That's what got him.
So, eesh. So along that line, I should say, uh, Florida man, leopard mauls a man who paid $150 for a full contact experience at a backyard zoo. Case in point.
Yeah. That's why backyard zoos are not a good idea. If you have people working there that will allow you to interact face to face with the animals for $250, um, yeah, that's not good. That's that's trouble in the making.
All right, Florida man and the law. Florida man buys a Porsche with a check printed from his home computer. In addition to purchasing a Porsche 911 Turbo from a dealership in Destin, Florida,
Oh my
the
gosh.
man also tried to buy Rolex watches in Miramar Beach with a bad check.
Wow. I mean, you can't, he gets an A for effort, I think. That's that's impressive that you said he pulled it off with the Porsche.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Printed a check.
he actually got the Porsche.
I mean, technology has surely come a long way. I mean, who still uses checks? Do you use checks? I do not. It's been
No,
a
not
long
really.
time.
I encounter them at my job because people do still pay with checks.
Yeah,
But I can't remember the last time I filled out, a check.
right. And maybe that's how he got away with it, just because nobody really uses it. So the people are just like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah,
you know, yeah,
I've
check. That
deposited checks,
works.
but that's about it.
Yeah, that's crazy though. To just, hey, let me write a check for a Porsche. It's not very common, but if he played the part right, he just he pulled that old wool over their eyes, and I bet you that was a fun 10 minutes or however long he got to drive that baby around.
For one shining moment.
Yeah, and then the check bounced like a rubber ball,
Yikes. Uh,
or it didn't even bounce. It was just like this isn't real. This thing it can't bounce because it has to be real in order to bounce.
yep, yep. Florida man tries to escape cops by stripping naked. Ribeyes fall out of his pants.
See that made sense until the ribeyes fell out of his pants. Then it's like, wait, what? What am I
Yeah, the
reading?
police say the this 28-year-old man stole 4 packs of ribeye steaks valued at $41.24.
Was it worth it? Doubt it.
$41.24. Complete humiliation of having to strip down naked to run from a grocery store.
Yeah.
I don't think there's payoff there.
Nope.
Florida man attacks a tow truck driver with a pair of nunchucks.
That sounds very legitimate.
The man was defending his Kia Spectra, of all things, from.
I drive a Dodge Stratus. I'm gonna defend my Dodge Stratus with my nunchucks.
You got your ninja skills?
Yeah.
He was defending his Kia Spectra from being towed in a Tallahassee parking garage. Florida man attacked the truck driver with a pair of nunchucks and fled the scene.
Jeez. He couldn't even defend his Kia Spectre's honor. He just he tried and then he ran. I wonder if the tow truck guy had like a bigger weapon. Those guys run into some, and I mean, being in Florida, he's going to be prepared for Florida man to come after him.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Like there was that one time where they had that guy with the bath salts, I think. He was like high on bath salts and was like eating people.
oh
Yeah.
gosh, yeah, that's nuts. Ooh, yeah, indeed.
And here's the last one. In Florida, cops called over a woman screaming for help. Turns out it was Florida man's pet parrot. He was screaming, "Let me out! Let me out!"
Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
oh.
that's crazy.
When
Some of those birds sound real. Like I had a friend well, no, I had family actually that had a parrot, and it just sounded like a real person.
apparently they all had a good laugh over that.
I'm sure they did. Sure they did. Well, thanks to let's see, Isaac Edlund, Lord Zukor, and Bagheera, aka Vic, for keying us in on the old Florida man.
Yes, sir.
Uh huh.
And that is, that's it for me. You got any more?
Bagheera did, Vic did bring up a
Oh,
crate
that's
escape,
right.
search for an
Yeah.
Irishman who was mailed, um,
Yeah,
like
dude was trying to get, I believe, to the States, um, to see family. And so he decided to stow himself in a crate, so that he would
as
not
one
have
does.
to would not have to pay the money, for shipping or for, flying. Here, let me get the.
This was in like 1965, just
Yeah,
so people are not confused, because
yeah.
as Bagheera said, it's almost impossible for such things to happen today, like because of X-ray tech and tight security. But Vic said he loves the fact that he ended up in America and they were super chill to just send him back. Today's
Oh,
time, that would have been bad.
yeah.
Like you would have
Okay.
been put in jail, that kind of stuff.
So he was trying to actually mail himself from Melbourne, Australia, to London,
Oh,
and
oops.
ended up in America.
Someone took the wrong turn.
Yeah. So his travel costs had been paid for by the Australian government, and he said he would have to pay about. Oh, hold on a second. Nope.
Wait for it.
Never mind. Uh, Sorry about that.
Did
Trying
you
to
read the wrong
scan.
story?
Yeah, I'm trying to. I read the story, but I'm just trying to scan through the important parts.
It's all good.
Uh, okay, yeah. He basically stowed into a wooden crate that was the size of a small fridge,
Okay.
and so
I
he
mean, that's quite a
brought.
trip,
Yeah,
like Australia to the US. I
yeah.
mean, it's Australia to London would be a long trip, but like if they went towards that direction and then cut over to the US instead, that's extra, man, an extra 3 or 4 hours at least that he wasn't planning on. That's dedication. You got to give it to him.
Yeah, absolutely. So um, he brought pillows, a flashlight, his suitcase, and two bottles. One for water and obviously one to pee in.
Obviously, one for also bodily water.
Yes. And then, all of a sudden, the plane landed and everything, and all of a sudden he did not hear people with, British accents. He heard people with American accents, and he's like, "What is going on?"
This is not my stop.
Nope.
Can you forward me to London, please? Thank you.
And so they did. They sent him to London,
Oh,
and,
they did send him to London?
yeah, they sent him back to London.
Oh,
Uh,
right. Wait, was he trying to get to Australia or was he
he was
trying to
trying
get?
to get to London, so they sent him to where he ultimately needed to go.
Oh, well, that was nice of him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but, he actually ended up writing a book based on his experience.
Hmm.
So, because dude's like 70 years old now, or something like that.
Yeah.
But,
Interesting. Interesting.
pretty crazy. And
Yeah,
I would
that's pretty
absolutely
crazy.
not do that.
No, definitely not. That would not be fun or enjoyable whatsoever. Not at all. Um, what in my research for weird news, I did want to represent my old home state of West Virginia, and I found a couple of news stories that are interesting. And actually, one of them is gaming related.
Ooh,
In
okay.
2010, Microsoft banned a user from Xbox Live for using the phrase "Fort Gay" as his address. The company initially refused to believe that, in fact, Fort Gay is a town in West Virginia. For those who don't know, gay means happy, and it actually had a non derogatory reference back in the day. And so this kid got reinstated thanks to the mayor of Fort Gay, who vouched for him, and they issued a correction, and he was able to stick with Xbox Live. So good on you, Microsoft, for correcting that. So yeah,
That is crazy.
yeah, good old West Virginia. The other one is, I think we just gotta. It wouldn't be a GMG without this. A man was once charged for assaulting a police officer by passing gas on him. Back in 2008, back in the olden days, a man in South Charleston was charged with assault for farting. The man had already been arrested on suspicion of drunken driving. Then police say he passed gas and then he fanned it in the direction of the officer.
Is
The
that
man
really
said,
assault though?
I mean, they can charge. I mean, if it makes him throw up in his mouth, that could be assault. It depends on how bad it was, I guess. Depends on what he ate.
That must have been pretty impressive.
Yep. So the assault charge was eventually dropped, though.
Okay.
I mean, they had if he was suspected of drunk driving and then they confirmed it, I think that's a little worse than you know
Fair enough.
toot tooting on a policeman.
True. True.
Yeah. So there you go. Representing West Virginia. Good job, West Virginia. Good job.
Oh, the gas
Yeah.
passers of West Virginia.
Yeah. Them gas passers. And I did also read somewhere that apparently John Denver and the writers of the song Country Roads never actually visited West Virginia. When sorry, they had not visited West Virginia when originally they had written that song. It wasn't until afterwards that they visited West Virginia.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, what? Did you see a picture and you're just like, country roads, take me home, West Virginia. Never been there, but it
West
sounds
Virginia, never been there.
nice. Take me home. We got to change the words. That just doesn't sound right. But they did visit West Virginia eventually, just
Nice.
not when they had written the song. So, all right, that's all I got. Just
Nice, nice.
wanted to represent that old WV.
I'm out as well.
All right. Well, that's a wrap up for the weirdness we have to offer you today. You fine joiners. Just to have one more minute of your time in housekeeping, where we offer towels, fluff, pillows, topped with Andy's candies, of course, and tip you off to the GMG news you need to know every Saturday around 9 p.m.
That is correct.
Yeah, Mark is streaming GMG Vrotham, and he's gonna be playing that old classic this week, Super Hot,
Indeed,
and then
indeed.
playing some others throughout the month. So please join him on twitch.tv/the Good Morning Guys. I have not been streaming during lunches because life is just life right now, and it is
Yeah.
just not. It's messy and busy and all that jazz. But I may try to do some early morning ones with Chris. So keep on the lookout. If you're up at 4, 5, 6 in the morning,
And I
you
won't
may
be.
find me playing Diablo. You probably won't be, but someone might be in
It's true.
Europe or Asia. But if you don't feel like watching us play video games, you can play video games with us at the beginning of every month on the first Thursday of every month. Here in a few weeks, the next one will be on May 6th, and you can join us for a Jackbox game night. So it should be a good time. The last one was really fun earlier here in April. And seriously, if you don't have fun or even crack a smile, we will give you a free t-shirt.
Whoa.
Putting it out there, just saying it's that fun. You will at least crack a smile. Besides that, please rate, review, and just share a little bit of feedback on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, and Stitcher, especially on Podchaser, because rumor has it that Meals on Wheels has partnered with them, as we have also. And
Yep.
for every review and rating you give us, just screen capture it, send it our way. 50 cents will be donated to Meals on Wheels, and you will be given a kid exactly what they need in the meal department. So it's a win-win situation. Give us a little nice review. Tell us what you think. Throw some stars our way, and money goes towards them kids. That's what we're all about. So
It's true.
helping out those kids. Besides that, connect with us on Discord, Twitter. You can call us at 929GMG Guys. All those numbers and links and all those things are in the show notes. We really just want your voice to be heard, and we want to connect with you. Speaking of what should be heard, Mark, what have you got for us before we share our next movies on the GMG MAFT 100 list?
Yes, sir. This week in movie history,
Mm-hmm.
a couple of things I want to point out. 2012, not too long ago, this week, The Avengers, the first Avengers,
Heyo.
premiered
Yeah.
in theaters, which was
It's making me
awesome.
hungry for a falafel.
How about some shawarma?
Some shawarma, yeah.
Um, yeah, and also this week in history, movie history, Sidney Poitier. Do you know who he is?
That name sounds very familiar, but why don't you refresh my memory?
He's a very famous actor. Um, he's an African American actor,
Mm-hmm.
and this week he became the first black actor. And unfortunately, I did not write down the year, but it was quite some time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he was the first black actor to win a competitive Oscar. I don't know what the difference is between a normal
Oh,
Oscar and a
was that
competitive.
was that the he was in Sneakers, right? What
Uh,
movies were what
well, he
movies
won
was
for a movie
were
called
he in?
Lilies of the Field. Is what he
Hmm.
won
Oh,
for.
now I'm gonna have to Google it. Yeah, I'm listening.
But
Lilies of the Field.
yeah, so he won an Oscar for that, which was awesome. And also, this week, in terms of actor birthdays, Adrian Brody, who's
Oh,
the
all right, all right.
pianist, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and Sarah Michelle Gellar, and Emma Watson, Hermione Granger,
Nice,
are
nice.
having birthdays this week. So happy
Uh,
birthday to them.
Happy birthday to you. Just to update you, Sydney Poitier, is
Poitier,
that like
yep,
a French,
yep.
some kind of derivative of French? He was in one of my favorite, I don't know what you would call it, kind of a spy movie
hmm
called Sneakers.
I've seen that.
He,
I saw that a long time ago.
yeah, it's an old classic from the 90s. But yeah, he's in that bad boy. That's how I actually recognize that name is from him
Oh, I also know him
being
from
in that movie.
is a movie based on a play. It's called
Uh-huh.
a Raisin in the Sun.
Oh yeah,
Yep,
I've heard of it. I don't think
seen
I've seen it
that.
though.
But yeah, very famous actor. Um, he's actually a Bahamian actor,
Mm,
Bahamian American. So I guess he's got dual
yeah,
citizenship.
nice.
But yeah, this week in movie
Cool.
history.
Cool. There you go. There you have it. Why don't you just keep it going? What is your movie of choice to add to the list?
I am going to add the Lord of the Rings,
Mm-hmm.
the Fellowship of the Ring.
All right. All right. Very nice. I think while we're at it, I think I added Return of the King towards the beginning some weeks ago, and you just added Fellowship. We
Yep.
might as well add Two Towers also.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna throw it in there. I love that trilogy. Yeah, all three of them, I feel like they work on their own and they work all together
Yep.
as a package deal. Love it. I'll already tell you the movies I will not be adding to the list. The Hobbit trilogy.
Ooh, you really don't like those?
I'm just throwing it out there right now. If you put it on the list, I'm going to give it a 0. No, I'm just kidding. I won't give it a 0, but
You'll give it a
that would be
one.
I will give it a yeah, 1.5. No, Lord of the Rings, wondrous, wondrous cinema and film. The Hobbit, cash grab, not wonderful cinema, but
I
that's
can
just
understand that.
that's just my opinion. But yeah, man, let's just give the Lord of the Rings some love. Fellowship of the Ring and Two Towers. I like it. Two
I'm good
solid
with that,
picks, if we say so ourselves.
and we do.
We do, we do. Be looking forward to July 19th when we will be going through our entire 100 movie list on episode 150. So we're building up to that. Next week, Pat and Ronnie, if you're listening, have 2 movies ready. Ready or not, here they come.
Time to catch up.
Yep. Alrighty then. Mark, And the spirit of Pat and Ronnie J, along with you, our beloved friends, family, and joiners, go get your good morning this week. And may God bless and guide your lives as you live, as you work, and as you game.